Hello, everybody. It's I from the Neighborhood INFP, and we are going to, of course, be looking at the love languages of the INTP, which you would think that I would have a lot more knowledge of, considering that I live with one and I am typically surrounded by them, which is basically what I'm going to be basing all of this off of. So, starting off with INTPs, the first and foremost is, of course, going to be quality time, because while INTPs are typically the introverts, and introverts typically value quality time quite a bit, that is fairly obvious. But the other part is that INTPs also typically are very picky with who they choose to spend their time and energy with. So if you're close to them, if you're friends with them, they are making the conscious choice to spend that time with you, no matter how draining or even to some extent frustrating they may see it as being. Oftentimes, they will want a more enjoyable experience, and they will probably get an enjoyable experience, but if they want to spend some time with you, quality time is going to be the biggest part of their thing. They have better things they could be doing, better things that they could be thinking of, better things they could be watching, but no, they have chosen to spend that time with you, and hey, they may even be the ones introducing you to anime, TV shows, games, books, etc. As part of the time that they're spending with you, and introducing you to those things because they enjoy that kind of thing. So quality time, fairly obvious. I would put it as the INTP's first love language. Of course, this is a general basis, as with all my love languages, but let's move on to the next one, which I'm going to say is going to be acts of service. Knowing from what I know about INTPs, there's a sense of obligation or need that they need to have, especially when there's like a role or some kind of expectation, and whether it be in family or other places, usually largely in family, the INTP will feel the need as if they need to, whether it be overperform or perform in a certain way or fulfill certain duties, no matter how exhausting it could be to them. I believe this is due to how their last function works. They believe that, at least the ones that I know, they have this thing that they will sacrifice their own needs for the needs of others, especially if it's family members. Now, to what extent this will go, I don't know. But being around an INTP who has done this and seeing other INTPs who have done this, it is a sense of, okay, because I love these people, okay, because they're expecting this of me, okay, because I need to take care of this and all of this stuff. It is on me to do these things no matter how much I may dislike it, because this is my way of showing love to them, which is why I put acts of service there. Now, of course, acts of service could also be them, if they're more tech savvy, helping you with your computers, or if they're usually, it's usually tech savvy, helping you with the computers, TVs, and whatever, phones, whatever tech related thing there could be out there. But once again, if it's usually on something that, okay, this is what is expected of me, which is why I would put acts of service second. It is expectations they have, especially of those they are extraordinarily close to. That's what they feel like they have to do. After this, I'm going to say, now it gets trickier. I'm going to say words of affirmation. INTPs are not entirely known for being the most motivational people out there. They are going to, yes, they're going to show you knowledge, they're going to give you knowledge, they're going to give you a kind of thing that you could do, or some kind of knowledge that they've read, sometimes based on experience, but most of the time it is based off of knowledge that they have gathered or information that they have gathered. One of the things that INTPs are really good at is gathering information and presenting you with the information that you are looking for. They may not be super knowledgeable about things. They may not or not knowledgeable, motivational. They are often super knowledgeable to the point where they're able to BS their way through a lot of stuff and make it seem like they know far more than they actually do, which is why their saying is that, they're typically always right, even if they're not always right, although some other types might contest that, but regardless, not the point. Because of all of this and their information gathering and their thought patterns and everything, they will tell you, oh, you should look this person up, or oh, here's some information I got, or here's something that will help you, or here's something that I think you'll be interested in. And then they'll kind of just leave it to you to whether or not you yourself will actually go and do it. It's like, I've presented you with the information, it is now off of my hands, I'm going to go leave and go back to my room, is the typical approach most INTPs take. So yeah, that's why I would put acts of, or words of affirmation. I almost said acts of affirmation. Words of affirmation third, because they're not like super motivational. They're not going to be there motivating you to go forward. They're just going to present the information, present what they know, and then they're going to leave and let you choose whether or not you follow through on it, because INTPs can be very indecisive, and who are they to say whether or not you should follow their advice, even though sometimes you should follow their advice. Moving on, they're going to say, oh, this gets hard. I'm going to say physical touch. INTPs would, while not like being super big into physical touch, they do not mind the hugs, they do not mind handshakes, they do not mind physical touch in the sense. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, wait, but INTPs aren't like super big on physical touch and all that. No, they're not. But the reason why I'm putting physical touch forth is because of what I'm going to say about gifts next. So while INTPs are not super big on physical touch, they would prefer that over gifts, which is why I'm going to put it, fourth, because it has to be placed somewhere on the list. And I'm pretty sure an INTP would much rather cuddle with someone they're in love with rather than what is coming up, which is gifts. A lot of INTPs, and I do mean a lot of INTPs that I know, are minimalists or have a minimalistic mindset. They do not like a lot of stuff, unless of course that lot of stuff is books or something that they're super interested in, like games or movies or whatever. Typically, a lot of INTPs will not have a lot of things in their homes. They will not have a lot of things in their apartments unless those things are related to stuff that they're interested in, and even then that might be the most they have out of everything. So if they're interested in, say, D&D, they're going to have a bunch of D&D books, dice, and D&D role-playing type stuff related, and they'll have shelves dedicated towards that, but they may only have, like, say, 4 plates and 4 forks, if even that, if even any plates, if even any forks, or they might have, like, plastic or styrofoam forks, if that is the side of them that they're going for. They surprisingly do not like a lot of things, which is why receiving gifts to them can be a little bit irritating, especially if it's not in an area that they're interested in. And even if it is in an area that they're interested in, they have to see some kind of use, or not maybe even use, but like some kind of brain triggering thought pattern that can invigorate their mental stimuli, if you will. They are not big on receiving gifts, which is kind of ironic because they can be quite good at giving gifts. So while they may not want to receive a lot, they are quite good, especially if you're close to them, at giving a lot. Or, they can be. Not that all INTPs will be this way. Some INTPs may even take it to the step further. It's like, here's a card, here's this, okay, I'm out, see ya. They are not materialistic in the sense that some others are materialistic, and gifts to them are kind of a hit or miss, and it depends on the INTP. Some can be really good at gift giving and some can be really bad at gift giving, but because they're so apprehensive on receiving gifts, that might clutter the area or might bring more to the area than they really need and doesn't stimulate their brain, they're not going to be too thrilled about it. which is why I'm giving gifts as the number 5 spot for INTPs, but of course it can be above. But from my experience, which is basically all of this, gifts is not their biggest strong suit. In fact, it's probably one of their weakest. So with that being said, I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye bye.